Hi everyone, welcome to DuoQueue. I'm Sally.
And I'm Rayla.
This week we're going to talk about the players that we've never talked about before because
Yeah,
we're mean and we're stupid.
we decided to ask some people who we tend to neglect in the podcast. So this is going to be our podcast where we talk about people we don't tend to appreciate very often.
And shout out to all two of our listeners for telling us what they want to hear.
And mainly just one because the other one didn't really give us answers.
I'm certain we'll disappoint you.
The plan is we're going to talk about these people, and then there are certain people that we were told we shouldn't talk about, even among these teams. So for rank this week, we're just going to kind of talk about teams and then their players who we haven't talked about and who do deserve a little love from us because we suck. Probably the most overlooked team that's like we shouldn't overlook was London Spitfire because we never fucking talk about them, and I mean they won the entire season. So, we kind of should talk about them, you know? I think
So I'm just thinking about how ridiculous that is. What was this, episode 10?
Yes, it is episode 10.
And we haven't talked about the championship team at all.
So, the Spitfire had, a really interesting season, because I was looking at, their standings. So, they won Stage 1, they finished second in Stage 2, and then they didn't even make the Stage Finals in Stage 3 and 4. And then they won the whole season.
Oof.
That's, wild. So, the first player I had to talk about was Fury, who is the off-tank player. So, he did not start out on South Korea for the World Cup, but then they ended up replacing Meko with Fury for the BlizzCon when they actually played. And we've kind of talked about this before, but I mean, it's kind of a huge deal to be on the South Korean World Cup team because there's so much competition. Mm-hmm. That, basically, if you're picked, it's because you're fucking good at the game.
Right.
I do have a fun fact for Fury. Are you ready for this fun fact?
Yeah.
He is the first and currently only player to have killed someone in an Overwatch League match with Torbjorn's hammer.
Goodbye.
Which he did during All-Stars.
Goodbye.
Isn't that a fun fact?
Yeah, it is fun. I remember who he killed, too. It was Gaguri.
It was Gaguri, yep.
Gaguri on Reaper. I have a fun fact about Fury as well. Surprise! I knew something.
Damn, come on, hit me with that fun fact.
He played on a team with Fleta when they were amateurs.
Aww, that's nice.
Isn't that fun? That's a fun fact.
That is, that's good to know. So next I have Jester.
Yeah!
Their main tank player. And we did some research on this, and one of the most talked about things I found when people were writing articles and stuff about Jester was just how he was so good at creating space, which is one of the main things that a tank player needs to do. So everyone was always talking about how he was really good about doing that and pushing forward and going places and making the other team do things, and just how that was he was really good at that, which is important. And I mean, probably a really good reason they did win. Jester led the league with the most amount of damage required to eliminate him in the quarterfinals. So basically, he was able to survive so much longer, which is that also, plays into, the support players. But I think that's, key to him also knowing that he knew when to get out and stuff. So he was just super hard to kill. My fun fact for Jester previously professionally played League of Legends for a Japanese league. And do you want to know what his name was there?
Oh my god, tell me.
His name was Korn.
It's I had no expectations, but that exceeded my expectations.
I thought you would enjoy that, so I put it in my notes.
That didn't carry over into Overwatch League. You didn't keep that one.
No, apparently he unfortunately did not.
Decided against being called Corn.
He did decide against that. With a slightly better name. Next, I had Birdering. I had kind of talked about Birdering before just because I thought it was really cute how he got his name because he was a fan of Seagull. And so he came up with the name Birdering. So I thought that was cute.
Yeah.
I feel like he had a kind of a interesting season because he did have some times when he didn't play as well. But when he was playing well, he was really fucking good.
He was injured a lot, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. He actually hurt his hand because he was playing the game Getting Over It, and he slammed his hand on the desk. So he got a wrist injury from that. Like I said, he was really good. He just did have some downtime, but I think that has to do with the injury and less so about him, you know. The next person on the team I had to talk about was Prophet, which
Prophet, yeah.
Again, and when I was searching for information about him, everyone was always talking about how flexible he was. When Birdering was injured, he would flex to play what Birdering would, which is, pretty...
It's impressive.
Yeah.
Especially to do them at Birdering level.
Yeah, this was really impressive. I think this might have been the clip that we did show in the DPS thing, but just as a reminder, during the very last map of the grand finals, he got 5 kills in the final seconds of the last map to completely get the win for London.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's that's insane. And he,
wild.
Because of that, he was the MVP of the grand finals as well.
Well deserved.
Yeah, definitely. His little fun fact was he flipped off the camera and got fined for it.
I remember that. A fine well spent, in my opinion.
I agree. If you're gonna go out for anything, that's what you should do. Couldn't find much on Nuss, but I still think we should shout out to Nuss. Actually, it was Nuss and Poseidon. They are the 2 support players.
Who?
Badocin. Oh my god, I can't even talk. Badocin. Nuss and Badocin. Jesus Christ. I just had a stroke, it's fine.
Poseidon, king of the ocean.
Badocin, I got some ideas for you. Badocin and Nuss are the support players. I just couldn't really find a lot on them, but obviously, like we said before, Chester was so hard to kill, and that, both of the healers contributed heavily to that.
Anyway, at people covering Overwatch League content, in a real capacity, please cover the support players.
Please, God, we're begging. And not just the ones that get kills.
Yeah. Please cover Arc as well as Jonak. Thank you.
Yeah. And then the others that I didn't have anything on are Guard and Krillin, but both of those are new players.
They're new players, so it's hard to find stuff on them.
Guard is a new DPS player and Krillin is a new support player.
Just for the record, it's really hard to find information on players that are new for the team, so that's going to be a recurring theme.
Yeah, so I just felt like...
As a heads up.
Yeah.
I was tasked with finding information about Soul, so I'm not allowed to talk about Fissure, Jaehong, or Toby. Sorry, boys. Love you.
Know that you were loved and appreciated here.
Know that you were so close to my heart, but I can't talk about you right now. The Soul Dynasty went into Season 1 with, I think, inarguably some of the highest expectations for their performance, and didn't quite live up to them at any point.
No, they finished 8th overall.
They finished 5th in Stage 1, 4th in Stage 2, 7th in Stage 3, and 10th in Stage 4.
I will say, they did good in Stage 1, and they started out strong, and then it just...
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the top...
Yeah.
If you look at the top 4 teams, other than the Outlaws, who sank pretty low toward the end of the season, the top 4 teams in Stage 1 were New York Excelsior, the Houston Outlaws, London Spitfire, and LA Valiant.
Yeah.
3 of whom performed incredibly well all throughout the season.
Yeah.
So, and in a lot of the articles I read, they were asked how they felt about Season 1, and a lot of them said the same thing, which was that they were really sorry and that they'll do better in Season 2. And I felt so bad. Just they're doing their best.
Yeah.
Please be nice.
Aww.
The players I couldn't find a whole lot on were Fitz, Jezzy, I don't know, I'm
Something
sorry. I pronounced it wrong. Marvel, but spelled with the 1 at the end.
I love that name, by the way.
Michelle and Munchkin.
What's wild to me is Munchkin isn't...
Munchkin was there all season and was a starter for most of the season, so I don't know why, but...
I tried to search for him as well, and I couldn't find much on him, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, those are their new players and one old player that I just couldn't find anything on. I'll start with Zunda.
Okay.
Zunba is he's their off-tank player, but he's known for being a really, really good Zarya.
Okay.
That was his kind of claim to fame. We didn't get to see a lot of that in Season 1, so hopefully he'll get to do that more in Season 2, but I looked up some clips and he's nutty. That was how he kind of made his name. When he started trying to become a professional gamer, his mom was not super into that, and she used to cut the cables
Oh my god, that's funny.
on his equipment, and she also once shut the electricity to the entire house off.
Oh my god. Damn, that's hardcore.
Which is hilarious. Zumba's brother helped, like, kind of get her around the curve, and now she's fully supportive of him. So they laugh about it now.
That's
he says,
funny.
And Zumba smashed his wrist on a desk and had to sit out in stage 3.
Zumba, not you too. Oh my god.
He was annoyed that people thought it was because he was playing too much and had to share. I don't know where he would have gotten that impression from. That people thought he just was playing too much and he had to sit out and someone else had to play for him. He said that he was annoyed that people thought that. So don't worry, everybody. It was because he smashed his wrist on a desk. That's all the information I could find about Zumba.
The only thing I had about Zumba was he also was on Team South Korea 2016, 2017.
Oh yeah, and then I have one thing about Marvel. The one.
Yeah.
I have one thing, and it is that he is now the youngest player on Seoul Dynasty.
How old is he?
He's 18.
Okay.
But then I had Fleta, because of course I did.
Here we go. Let's get it.
Fleta is my favorite player on Seoul, so this is exciting.
You done good from saying that. We could talk about him.
I actually couldn't also find a whole lot. He was on the Overwatch World Cup team this year because Sabiolbi had something that come up that he couldn't compete this year, so Fleta got to take his spot, and he was super proud of it. When asked about how he felt coming into the World Cup team, he was asked if he was nervous about it, and he said, "I usually don't get nervous." He competed in the Overwatch League All-Stars Widowmaker 1v1 tournament.
He did.
Because he made a name for himself mostly as a Widowmaker player. Other heroes that he was known for were Genji and Pharah. And he has said that he wants to be able to play more Genji and Pharah. They just weren't up high on the meta as opposed to Widowmaker, so he's to get to play something else maybe. Also said that the most impressive moment of the 2018 World Cup was when Animo ulted as Lucio on Rialto so that they could beat the UK. So he's also a king who values his support.
That's good. I appreciate it.
The question was, what was your most impressive moment? And he gave his most impressive moment to Animo.
That's nice, though.
That is nice. Yeah, but that's it. And also, I love him.
And also, you don't know the facts, and the facts are that she loves him.
That I love him.
Did have one Fleta fact that I found that was pretty impressive. And that was about before even the Overwatch League, he had, like, a reputation for carrying teams. And
yeah. Oh, I also had this. He was known as like the icon of suffering before he came into the Overwatch League because every team he's ever been on has been like a big fat loser.
So, like we were saying, he had a reputation for carrying teams, and one time said infamously he racked up 50% of his entire team's final blows.
Jesus Christ.
Which is like pretty insane, actually.
That's Fleta,
we love
the
Fleta.
Icon of suffering.
Yeah. I mean, that's relatable, you know? Like, I get it.
I get it. That's how I feel playing quick play.
Yeah. The next team we neglect is Florida Mayhem. Obviously, they had a pretty rough season. They finished 11th place, winning only 7 of their games.
Jesus Christ, I didn't know they didn't win that many.
Yeah. But
oh my god,
I feel like even though they had a really rocky performance, they had some really like standout players. So the first player I had to talk about was Tivik, who I don't know if this is accurate, but I feel like he's one of the like I know Overwatch isn't old, but he feels like he's one of the guys that has been around.
Yeah,
like I remember him clearly when I watched before I like really watched it. So he is also the DPS player for Team Sweden, which is where I first saw him, was during the World Cup. Some interesting stats was he was the most accurate McCree player in Stage 2, which I guess, like, I didn't really know this. I don't know if this is true, but what I read, like, I guess McCree is one of the hardest people to aim with. You can correct me in the comments if that's not true, but that is what I read.
I can contest that. Well, I can attest to that. Sorry. I'm an English major. I can attest to that. Aiming with me is really hard. And also, so is aiming with everyone else.
Yeah, but he was the most accurate during that stage. He is considered to be like a really good Genji player. I think it speaks volumes that he is one of the few remaining original members.
Mm-hmm.
And he's literally the only person for Misfits that stayed on Florida Mayhem that they kept. One thing that I think will be interesting, he's the only non-Korean on the team now.
Oh boy.
So that seems like not good for comms.
Oh boy.
So I'm kind of like interested in how that whole thing is going to work out. But, you know.
Maybe Tvik will just have to learn Korean.
Maybe. So this player is unfortunately not on the Florida Mayhem anymore. But I feel like we should still talk about him because he was an important part during this stage, or season 1. And it's Logic.
Thank Mr. Logic.
Thank Mr. Logic. He was known...
That's all I know about him, by the way. I just know the meme. That's it.
I also don't know if this is true, but I feel like he was known for his Tracer play. Like, that's always what I remembered him playing.
Mm-hmm.
And then he really stepped up to the plate to be, like, the Widow player when they needed him as well. This was a really cute quote that I found from someone that, like, interviewed him. And it said, Logix is a big guy with friendly features and thick eyebrows.
Aww.
He's easy to talk to, polite, a great listener. He often smiles, but only slightly and mostly with his eyes. Which, like, that's so cute.
That's so sweet.
So I like that a lot, so I wrote it down.
I love that.
And
that's the kind of vibes I want to go into this year with.
Right, that's so nice.
I want to smile with my eyes. I want to have friendly features and thick eyebrows.
Yeah, let's go. So, like I said, unfortunately, he went from Florida Mayhem to be on XL2, and I believe he's currently a free agent. So I'm hoping he gets like picked up by someone because he's a really good player. Hoggerpin was originally on the Spitfire.
Hmm?
They released him, and then he got picked up by Mayhem Academy, who then moved him on up to Florida Mayhem. As I said, there's like a lot of fucking new players for Florida because they basically gutted their whole roster. So besides Hoggerpin, there's also BQB, SNT, Chris, which
okay,
someone named Swoon, I believe. Zephyr, who was on Soul Dynasty and then Apply.
I have one fun fact about the Florida Mayhem. May I tell you what it is?
What is the fun fact?
Well, the fun fact about Florida Mayhem is that is the team that T-Pain roots for.
Oh my god. Also,
I love T-Pain.
T-Pain is amazing. Also, I'd just like to make a correction, because apparently I'm wrong, and Apply is also not Korean.
Ah.
So there's two,
No.
at least two. And then the last person, who you guys know is my favorite from Mayhem because he deserves so much, is Saya Player. He's just an insane Widow player. Oftentimes, when he's playing on his alt account, he gets accused of cheating.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was against a big streamer, and they looked at his account, and he had 31% crit accuracy, which is, like, if you don't know about crit accuracy, that's pretty insane. Literally had to start streaming and be like, no, I'm Saya Player, to prove that he wasn't cheating. He has the highest Widow versus Widow final blow to death ratio through the first 4 weeks of stage 3. So he had 3.26 with his rate, and then the person that was second place was 2.03.
Who was next?
Fleta.
Yes! Of course he was.
So, and then also...
That's nuts.
Because this was like an article just talking about how insanely good he is, basically. It listed stats of his 1v1s against People's Widowmaker. He went 11-3 against Carpe, 11-3 against Linkser, 9-6 to Birdering, 5-0 to Libero, and 9-1 against Soon.
Yeah, that's nutty.
He's insane, and it was really sad to me that like he could do that well, but Florida Mayhem still just couldn't get the results.
No such thing as a carry.
No.
It's a team game.
Which is, I feel like they probably built the new team specifically around him, as they should.
I was going to say they should have if they didn't.
Just speaking to like his accuracy, he spends hours each day going through drills so that he can like maintain and perfect his aim, which is obviously why he's so good, because he's so committed to like doing that daily for hours.
My eyes hurt just thinking about it.
Yeah. And then I found a really cute quote from him. He said, Grandma's birthday is coming up soon, so I'm planning to send her half of my first paycheck. And then I'll ask Mom if she wants anything. I want to get her what she wants. I want Mom to be happy.
Aww!
Isn't that cute?
What a good little man.
I love him.
Here's the thing. Players, if you're listening, if you say anything about taking care of your mom or your grandma or someone like that in your family, you're my new favorite. So,
Yeah.
just jot that
It's
down.
so cute.
Boys, take care of your mothers.
Yeah.
And good on you, Saya player, for taking care of your grandma and your mother. So I got tasked with the dragons.
For the dragons, we're not allowed to talk about Guguri.
We're not allowed to talk about Guguri, which is a travesty. The Shanghai Dragons placed 12th in Stage 1, 12th in Stage 2, 12th in Stage 3, and 12th in Stage 4.
Oh.
They have a 40-0 record, and they never won, which is really, really sad.
Yeah.
Because everybody's got their team that they root for, but you also root for the Dragons. Like, it was everybody's kind of second favorite team because everybody just wanted them to get one throughout the whole season, and it never quite made it happen. A couple times they were close, and they steadily improved throughout the season. They were another one that kind of gutted their whole team. At the end, they were left with Giguri, who we're not allowed to talk about, Dia, and Fearless. I found a little bit about Dia. I found a lot about Fearless.
He deserves it.
Yeah, and then I found a little bit about one of the other players, too. The ones I didn't get to get a lot of information on were Koma, D-Ding, and then Guardian, Luffy, and Youngjin. D-Ding, Youngjin, Luffy, and Koma were all on Kangdu Panthera, who took second place to Runaway in Korean Contender Season 2. I'll start with Dia. Dia struggled a lot in Season 1. A lot of the information I found about him was about his kind of struggling with adjusting and with the management of the team, which came out as being not very good. Even though he struggled a lot, he had a few really good Widow performances. And I found an interview with him where he talked a little bit about how he felt like the more that he leaned into his teammates, the better he felt like they were getting. So eventually throughout the season, he stopped trying to lean on the coaching staff as much and kind of looked to his teammates, and that they all lifted each other up. And he talked a lot about how much he valued the relationships between his teammates and himself, which was really, really nice. That was kind of the only thing I could really find on him, but also that he is now the only Chinese player that is on the Dragons still. The other ones are all Korean, but that he also said that he is proud to represent China on behalf of Shanghai, and that he hopes that in Season 2 they have a little bit better time and they make a better name for themselves. So that was something that he said. I watched a couple of clips of him, and he did have some really killer Widow games.
He had some good Tracer plays too, I remember.
But he got Player of the Match once.
Yeah.
Or Player of the Day, I think it was. It was Player of the Day. Alongside Carpe. But he got Player of the Day for mostly for playing Widowmaker.
Yeah.
And then we talked a little bit about DM already when we talked about our friendship episode, because he is friends with Carpe. They're Carpe DM. But he won 2 Contenders China titles, which is kind of neat, with his former team. And yeah, he's also friends with Carpe. That's what I know about DM.
I'm excited because I hope he does really well, because I think it would be I don't know, it'd be good.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive to win 2 Contenders titles in a row, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
And then Fearless I found a lot about, which, considering how little we could find about literally everybody is wild. Fearless was never into video games before Overwatch, so it can happen, just so everyone knows.
That's relatable to you, personally.
Yeah, who does that sound like? It's me. But he just picked it up one day and liked it. And then decided that since he liked it so much and was a really passionate fan of the game, that he should go pro.
That's pretty wild, to be honest.
Yeah, he's never really grew up playing video games, just liked it. He's known as being a really aggressive player, especially on Winston. He's known for his damage output on Winston. He and Otto were really close. They were roommates when he moved there. And they became really good friends, and he was sad to see Otto leave the team, but hopefully they'll stay close buddies.
Yeah.
When he was picked up by the Dragons, he picked 8 as his jersey number, because 8 is lucky in Chinese culture, and he's South Korean, but he wanted to represent the home fans with a lucky number.
That's really sweet. Aww.
Which I think is nice. He is a snappy dresser.
He fucking
as we saw in the last episode. Yeah, and he values his appearance a lot. He says, quote, I feel like if I look nice, then I'm making the fans proud.
Aww.
So I think that's a nice thing to do. He says he dresses more casually at home, but when he goes out, he likes to look nice for if people see him.
That's nice. What a cutie.
And then he said he looks up to Gesture the most. As a main tank player, that he wants to emulate the way Gesture plays. And yeah, that's it. That's all I had.
I did have one quote about him. He talked about being a tank, and he said he saw it as the shield in spear of the team.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what you talked about, like, with him being really aggressive. And they were talking about how it was really rare because he was one of the primary damage dealers of his entire team. That specific stat I think is really interesting, that he was, like, one of the main damage dealers, even though he was a tank player.
He always keeps in the back of his mind a way to get out. So he jumps in, does a whole bunch of damage, and then he has to figure out a way to get out. He says that's the most important thing. It's not necessarily killing the other team. The most important thing is protecting your teammates. So if they need you, you need to get out.
Yeah, that's good. So then the next team we had to talk about is New York Excelsior. Before we start, we're not allowed to talk about Sabiobi, Jonak, or Arc. Which is, as a preface to say, I love Arc, and that should be known anyways. So, New York Excelsior is obviously, like, they were the team to beat. Even though they had a rough end, they were insane. So, their stats, they were 34-6 throughout the whole season. They lost 6 games, and that was it. The next closest was the Valiant, and they were 27-13. So, 13 losses compared to 6 is pretty... incredible. We'll start out with the people that I couldn't find a lot on. So, Flower and Nene are they're the newer people. They were both on XL2. I've talked about Flower a little bit before because I had seen him during the World Cup and he was insane. So I'm excited to see, how they're gonna go, because they have, so many good DPS players that I'm interested to see how they're gonna play them and stuff. I didn't have a lot about Mano either. He's the main tank player. We talked about him a little bit last episode as well, because obviously he's an important part of the team because the main tank is. Also, a really fun fact, he did play Lucio for them because Arc got out with a wrist injury at one point and they didn't really...
Stop hurting your wrists! Oh my god!
They didn't have Animo at that time, so they didn't really have anyone to replace him. So Mano fucking played Lucio, and they still, won, too. I think that's impressive to be able to, be a main tank player and switch in and play a character you're not used to and still manage to pull out the win.
Well, sometimes it be like that. Sometimes you just gotta play little mystery heroes, and then you win.
Yeah, and then after the whole thing with Arc, I believe they got Animo on, who Animo also ended up playing in the World Cup in place of Arc for BlizzCon. He's known for having a much more aggressive playstyle than Arc, which is probably due to the fact that he's known for his Lucio as well. So I think those two things kind of go hand in hand. Animo means nobody knows me.
Aww.
It's okay, Animo. We know you now. Everyone knows
we know you now.
Next I had Meko, who is their off-tank player. He was off-tank during the group stage. We talked about that a second ago. He was replaced by Fury, but he originally was off-tank player last year during the group stages. He's known as being a really defensive diva. So he's really good about keeping his backline safe. I mean, he's a big part of the reason I would say that Jonak is able to do what he does, because he helps make sure he stays alive. I would say he's a really consistent player as well. Then I had Pine. Pine is impressive, I would say. We've talked about him before, but we weren't told not to talk about Pine, so we're going to talk about Pine. We talked about it before, but they would just sub him in for control maps, and then he would kick ass, and then they would take him out. That was just what he would do. He's known for doing really crazy flanks. He goes on these flanks, and then he attacks the backline, which forces the tanks of the other team to have to turn around and take care of him, so that allows the rest of his team to push forward. I found out that his number 21 comes from the fact that he always gets the 2+1 deals at the supermarket because he loves them more.
Oh my god.
That was a direct quote from Mr. Pine himself. Isn't that amazing?
Man thrives on chaos. I'm obsessed with him.
I love it.
Oh my god.
Isn't that funny?
That's the best.
And for the last player, who is the player that after this research I is very dear to my heart.
I'm excited for this because you took the time out of your research to tell me how we fucked up and we should have been talking about him time.
We should have. Libero. Justice for Libero, first of all. Libero, that sweet boy. We've overlooked him so much, and I feel so bad.
We're going to make up for lost time. It's fine.
So Libero he was on the World Cup team as well. He was one of the DPS players. One of the articles I found about him was talking about how Libero is really flexible, and the way that he flexes, it allows his team to shine. So he's often overlooked because of the way his playstyles is. It kind of puts the other people more front and center, even though he's doing a lot. I don't know, that made me so sad because I'm like, oh, Libero. And during the Stage 2 finals against Fusion, he played 6 different heroes throughout 5 games. That's how flexible he is. Like, because especially, like, when you're in, like, finals, you don't really switch off unless you're good. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna stick to the characters that you're good at. So, NYXL had these little, like, videos where they talk about their origins and stuff and, like, do little interviews. And he was so cute. He talked about how, like, when he was younger, he wanted to be a doctor because he watched a lot of, like, doctor TV shows. And he said, it looked hard, but helping people is worthwhile. Aww. Which is so cute.
Libero.
So I adore Libero, and I think he's really good, and I feel bad that we overlooked him, just like it seems like a lot of other people also overlooked him. Sorry, Libero. I love you.
So this week on Arcade, we're going to give each other a little quiz. One of us is going to give the other a player, and then we're going to guess what team they're on. Basically just the new teams and new players on Season 1 teams.
Yeah.
Do you want to go first?
Sure. My first one, I'm going to say Hagopin.
He was on London, but I don't think he is anymore. And I don't know where he went. So...
So I'm guessing that's going to be not a point for you in the end.
Did he go to Atlanta?
No, he's part of Mayhem. Florida Mayhem.
Fuck. Damn it. Alright, I'm going to give you Only Wish.
Oh, fuck, I remember seeing that name. I think is he part of Spark?
Ha! Wrong.
Damn it. It was the Charge then, wasn't it?
Yep.
Okay, I knew it was one of those two, and I couldn't remember which one. Shit.
I love that name, by the way.
It's
very good.
It's very good.
Only Wish. It's very good.
How about San Sam?
Hello?
S-A-N S-A-M. San Sam.
I've never heard that before. It's so annoying. I don't know.
Just take a
I'll
guess. Just like any wild guess.
I don't know. Toronto.
Washington Justice.
I don't know anything about that team, so if you just want to name all the players on that one, that would be...
I mean, I can do that.
Probably your best bet, to be honest. I'm going to give you Rio.
I'm going to say Chengdu Hunters.
That is incorrect.
Damn it.
It is the Charge once again.
Damn it. The thing that makes me mad is, like, I recognize the names. For the most part, I just can't remember which team. God damn it.
So, too bad for you.
My next one I'm going to give you is Luffy.
Oh, that one I know. Luffy is Dragons.
It is. Correct. That's
that
the
one.
only point anyone's going to score, so congrats.
Alright, I'm going to give you Ria.
Spell that for me.
R-I-A. Like Rio, like the one I just gave you, but with an A. Ria.
I'm just going to say the Chengdu Hunters.
That is incorrect once again.
Is it the fucking Charge again?
No,
Okay.
it is the Spark.
Okay.
It is the Spark.
All
Big
right.
team.
Yeah, big team. How about Stellar?
Ugh.
You're already winning, so like you have that going for you.
Toronto, I guess. I don't know.
It is Toronto.
What?
Yeah.
Yes!
So you had 2 points.
I mean, I knew it the whole time.
So you definitely have already won the game.
How about LH Cloudy?
That is from Paris.
Yeah, I thought maybe
Chris.
you wouldn't know, but of course you do.
Of course, I know the Paris ones. How about guard?
I think I know this one, actually. No, I don't.
I like the confidence.
I don't know. The Washington team.
London Spitfire.
Fuck.
Fuck is right.
How about Nenny?
That is NYXL. I've seen him before. He played for XLT.
Well, of course he did.
How about Hureg?
That's another one that was on London and now is not on London. No! Wait. Hold on. I know this one.
Okay.
Hang on, I know this one.
Okay. Go on.
I know this one. Hold on. Okay. He went to a different team. It's one of the new ones. I know the answer. It's in my brain.
Okay. I'm waiting. I'm holding on.
What's the one that Runaway became?
You're gonna have to guess.
Fuck.
Your time.
It's You're not timing me.
Your
Fuck
arbitrary time is
Shut up. Shut up. It's Vancouver.
Yes, Vancouver Titans.
Yeah. How about also something I can't fucking pronounce?
Yeah, it do be like that actually.
How about Eveltal?
Oh, fuck. I like this player too.
You don't know the answer. You already don't know. I know you don't know it.
Thinking Velter.
You knew it. You would have said it already.
No, that's what I'm trying to think. Just like you always think. Hello? Is that one Chengdu Hunters?
You're so annoying.
I like that player. I remember watching them throw a cup.
Whatever.
How about Fozix?
Huh?
Fozzik.
Fozzik?
Yes.
Fucking don't know. I don't know.
You gotta guess. You might get
I don't
right.
want to. I won't.
You might.
I don't know. Atlanta.
No, it was Washington.
Cool. I didn't know it.
Well, that's the point, idiot. Hello? That's the entire point of this game we're playing, is that we don't know?
How about RCK?
That's Dallas Fuel.
Whatever. I don't even want to play this with you anymore. This game's over.
You can't end the game now.
I'm ending it now.
You can't.
I'm tired. I don't like this game.
This was your idea.
I know it's a dumb game. I had a dumb idea.
This was your idea. We're not done
I had
yet.
a dumb idea.
No.
Okay, fine.
BB.
Huh?
BB.
That is Sabiobi's dog's name? You can't trick me.
Is that your final guess?
Yep.
No, it's on the Spark.
I'm so proud of her. How about Fits?
That is
Fits.
That is Soul Dynasty.
I'm gonna just hang up on you. You can do this podcast yourself.
This was your idea, hello?
End of podcast. This is our last episode.
No, it's not. How about Danye?
Do you feel like this is a trap?
Is it?
Yes.
I thought this one was easy, is why I gave it to
Well,
you.
you're giving. That's what I'm saying. This is an easy one, and I'm gonna look stupid because I don't get it. I don't know what it is.
I thought it was easy for you.
It's not easy. I don't know the answer.
It was
I don't know.
It was Paris.
Why would I know that? You're the Paris guy. Well, thank you everybody for listening. Hope you enjoyed it.
I hope you enjoyed us talking about the people you told us to talk about.
Hopefully we did what you asked.
Did him justice.
Next week, following the theme of being underappreciated, we are going to talk about the ladies in the Overwatch competitive scene.
Yay.
And I am so excited.
Me too.
You took Gaguri from me this week. You won't take her from me again. But yeah, so tune in next week. Like and subscribe if you haven't done that already.
Yeah.
Share with your friends.
Yeah. Well, maybe not your friends. Maybe don't share.
Share with your friends.
Maybe don't share with your friends.
And as always, GG go next.
GG go next.